As the clock ticked into the half-hour mark, everyone looked on in anticipation. There was this thought of, we're going to get all the lore now, we're going to see everything. That's what we were told in so many words. We were told that the last half hour would be the most important. We got a glimpse of what was inside the Unus Annus coffin. There was nothing. And then as the clock ticked down to 0 and the stream died and the channel died, there was confusion. In the Lore Hunters Discord, which I am a part of, there were people definitely going through the various stages of grief. Some were accepting of everything that was happening. Some were still trying to bargain. We've missed something. No, there's something that we can do. Some were clearly in the depressed stage of just being unable to process it all. Some people were angry. What about all this lore? There were all these codes and ciphers and Morse code. And then there were some people who just flowered in denial. It's not the end. There's something more. And there are people who talk about the ending of Unus Annus as disappointing or unfulfilling. But I think we got the good ending. One of the big things that came out of our Morse code deciphering, our anagram breaking kind of investigations was this idea of a machine and trying to escape the machine, break the machine, or whatever you want to look at it as. And we all assumed that this was Mark and Ethan trapped in the machine with Unus Annus taking over their bodies and all this stuff. But I think it's a little bit more simple than that. I think it's a lot simpler. Imagine you are running a YouTube channel. You're not just somebody that watches other stuff, but you post your own content. Maybe you're a small-time guy like me. A few song covers, a couple of videos here and there. You've got a very small number of subscribers and you've got a modest number of views that you're happy with. Now imagine YouTube comes along and says, if you violate one obscure guideline, if you break one copyright rule, if you don't do what we tell you to do, we will take away your channel like that. You are just a conveyor belt of content. And if you no longer fulfill their needs, they will simply take you off and replace your part of the machine. Because the YouTube machine keeps on trucking. But then there's Unus Annus. You see, they had a channel that by the time it reached 0, they had over 4.5 million subscribers, over 850 million views, and a world begging them to not end the channel. The revenue they were getting from that channel, the attention they were getting from that channel, the eyes were on them, History has its eyes on you. Everyone was watching. There were 1 million people in the live stream alone watching this all happen. And what did Mark and Ethan do? They killed it. Not out of sadness, not out of anger, not out of pettiness or sacrifice, but because that was the point. Ever since the beginning, we all were told what they were going to do. And we tried to stop it. We tried to decipher the hidden meanings, breaking the coding. We did all of this, and it still ended. And people in the Law Hunters Discord look at it as a failure. We weren't able to save them. And I think I understand. I think they saved themselves because they were not beholden to the machine. They weren't trapped in the algorithm. They weren't locked in this unending mission to to spur out content like a conveyor belt. Mark and Ethan were not beholden or trapped in the machine. They could leave whenever they wanted, and they did just that. That in of itself is a fantastic story. That of itself would be enough to say, wow, look at that. They said they were going to delete the channel, and they did. Good for them. What a fantastic point to make, that they are not beholden. But it's more than that. What happened was that they showed that the machine had no power over them. They didn't care that, they appreciated the subscriptions, they appreciated the views, they appreciated the revenue, but ultimately that was not the point. The point was to have this constant creed of memento mori and making every second count. They made videos based upon their ideas, their interests, their outlandish kind of ideas and stuff. They didn't do what YouTube told them to do. They didn't do anything that Google or YouTube told them to do. They did what they wanted to do. And what could YouTube do? Take them down? Well, they were going to do that already. Mark and Ethan broke free from the machine. They're free. And I think a lot of this boils down to an important point that we need to realize. We try to rewrite the story all the time. We try to dictate how the stories should end. In everyday life, we talk about how that celebrity shouldn't be with that celebrity, it should be somebody else. We talk about how, this character should have survived and that character should have died. We talk about how this celebrity should have stayed alive and this other celebrity should have died. Hell, even during the final half hour of the Unus Annus live stream, people in the Law Hunters Discord were probably the idea of proposus Annus. They thought that Mark was going to propose to Amy. They thought that they should have done. Because this is what we do. We try to dictate everybody else's story. We try to decide what is the right ending and the wrong ending. Because we think we know better. But what right do we have to write other people's lives? Who are we to tell Markiplier who the hell he should do videos with, what the hell videos he should do, or when the hell he should, if he does, propose to the woman he loves? Why do we think we're entitled to have a say in that? Why does YouTube think it's entitled to tell people how often they should make videos and when they should make videos? There might obviously be differences. YouTube owns the platform people use, but we don't own celebrities. We don't own our friends or our family. But we do this shit all the time. That person shouldn't be with that person. You know what you should do? You know what? This would be better if this. We do this crap all the time, and we did it to Mark and Ethan. The whole peace order, whilst funny, was because of us. We pushed that narrative. We demanded it, and they did it, but they chose to do it. But we also, many of us did want the stream to end. I wanted the stream to end. A lot of people didn't, though. But it ended despite what they wanted. Because you don't get to decide their ending. You don't get to decide the story. It's not your story to tell. Unus Annus was the story of a group of people, not just Mark and Ethan, but a group of people banding together to create the ultimate metaphor that you do not have to be beholden to the machine. Whether that machine is YouTube, a company, or simply people's expectations and wants. And now they're free to do what they want. They can take the time that they're now going to have not doing Unus Annus to crank out more content for their own videos, or maybe work on some new big projects like a House of Markiplier, or maybe just take a break, or maybe not even just take a break, but just live. They've more than deserved the ability to rest on their laurels. But no matter what they do, it's their decision, not ours, not YouTube's, not anybody's, but theirs. And that's what I believe the point is. I believe the point that we have all been missing is that this isn't about what we've lost, but about understanding what we've always had. The freedom to choose our story. The freedom to rebel against the machine. Whether that is YouTube or us. There are going to be a lot of people affected by the death of Unus Annus, and there are people far more qualified than I to give you advice. But if I may give you one bit of advice as just some schmuck from the northeast of England who understands loss so much, let me leave you with this, and that is, you've only lost something when it can never be remembered. As long as you remember something, as long as you hold it in your memory and hold it in your heart, it is always there. So, allow me to leave you with a poem I wrote. And I wish you all well. And for me personally, I look forward to making more singing videos and Let's Play videos in the future. But for now, just a quick poem I wrote. The final moment with my final breath. Memento mori, remember death. Before my eyes lay all my possessions and memories, a library of moments, errors, and opportunities. I do not weep for my fate, though the hour be late. I am want for nothing, I lived a full life. My heart filled with love, my wisdom crafted through strife. I close my eyes tonight for an eternal morn. I lose nothing in death. Time was never mine to own. Memento mori. Unus Annus.